What's up, guys? This is Nick. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another combo tutorial using my FA Metalfoes deck that I took second place with at my locals about 2 weeks ago now. However, I wanted to do a going second combo tutorial. I showed you a going first combo tutorial on the last video, and I wanted to showcase some of the cards that I wasn't actually able to necessarily highlight. For example, this being the brand new Trishula Zero Dragon of the Ice Barrier out of the Ice Barrier structure deck that just came out. I was side decking this card, and I think I need to do a combo video to showcase you guys how it is that I actually synchro summon this. Because you were probably looking at this on my side deck and wondering, how do I even make this? So I feel like it's something that deserves a video. So today's video is going to be on the combos that I can make with FA Metalfoes going second, and putting more of a highlight on some of the cards that you guys didn't get to see in the first combo tutorial. So just to note, I sided out my Super Poly that was in the main deck, and I also sided out the Super Poly target, which was the Metalfoes Crimsonite in my extra deck. I put this in the extra in its place, and then also I'm running Call by the Grave in my main deck in place of the Super Poly that I just sided. So the deck is still 41 cards, and the extra deck's 15. So let's go ahead and dive into this combo. We're going to showcase you guys how it is that I actually go into this going second, which is pretty cool. So one of the things that I wanted to point out, which I didn't point out in the first video, was what happens if you open up a handful of Metalfoes monsters? Can you still full combo? And that answer is yes, actually. Let's just assume you're going second, and your hand consists of something like this. You have a Metalfoes Stealing, a Silvered, a Melcaster, and ideally these could be any Metalfoes monsters. And then you have like one field spell, for example, and then another card, obviously, because you'd have 5. Well, 6 if you draw for turn, but anyway, getting off topic, let's just pretend like this is the hand you're working with. Can you still full combo using this hand? Now, anybody would look at this and say, probably no, you probably can't full combo. But the answer is actually yes, and I'm going to show you guys how that's done. So to start, we're going to go ahead and activate FA Off-Road Grand Prix in our field zone. Again, this can be any field spell. This can either be Off-Road Grand Prix, it can be City Grand Prix, or Circuit Grand Prix, since all of these are the ones that have effects when they're destroyed. We'll go ahead and activate Metalfoes Silvered in the scale. We'll go ahead and use Metalfoes Silvered's effect, targeting the FA Off-Road Grand Prix, destroying it, and then we'll go ahead and set a Metalfoes Spell Trap directly from our deck to our field. Now, what's cool about this interaction in particular is that this interaction cannot be ashed, because the Metalfoes Silvered is setting the Metalfoes Fusion that we're going to search directly to the board. Now we'll go ahead and use the Graveyard effect of Off-Road Grand Prix since it was destroyed. We can go ahead and add any FA card from deck to hand except a copy of itself. And in this case, we are going to search a UA Hyperstadium, which is always treated as an FA card for those of you that didn't watch the profile. Also, check out that profile because it is pretty cool. I'm playing some pretty interesting stuff, both in the main extra deck and side deck, so it's something that you guys do want to check out. I'll post a link in the description. So we're going to go ahead and activate Hyperstadium, using its effect on activation to go ahead and search us a Auto Navigator to our hand, since Hyperstadium can search any FA monster from deck to hand. We're going to go ahead and normal summon Auto Navigator, use its effect to search any FA field spell from the deck to our hand. In this case, we'll go ahead and add a City Grand Prix. We can either go for City, or even Circuit Grand Prix if we're going second. But Circuit Grand Prix is cool, but I'll showcase Circuit Grand Prix in the following combo. But in this case, we'll go for City. And actually, if you're going to make the Synchro Trishula, you're going to need either City Grand Prix or Off-Road Grand Prix. And I'll explain why once I get to that point. So if you're going to try and make the brand new Trishula Zero Dragon, you can't use the Circuit Grand Prix. You're going to need City or Off-Road for this. So now, what we're going to do is we have 2 Metalfoes monsters in hand. We can actually go ahead and activate our Metalfoes Fusion summoning both the Stealing and the Melcaster in our hand, to go ahead and Fusion summon from our extra deck a copy of Metalfoes Orichalc. Orichalc's a really nice fusion monster, only requiring 2 Metalfoes monsters as material to go into. Metalfoes Fusion will go to grave. We will use the graveyard effect of Metalfoes Fusion to go ahead and shuffle it back into the deck and get ourselves a draw. And I do gotta say, that is a pretty cool interaction with Metalfoes Fusion. Being able to just recycle it back into your deck and get a free plus off of it is really, really nice. I don't think that there's any other field spells, or I'm sorry, fusion spells in the game that actually function like that. So that's just really nice that Metalfoes Fusion is able to do that. I'll go ahead and draw. Drew into a Metalfoes counter. Again, it really doesn't matter what you draw here because it's just a free +1 anyway. Now what's cool about this is we do have a tuner on board and a non-tuner, which means we can actually make our Crystron Halqifibrax, or we can actually go into a level 9 Synchro. But for the purposes of this combo, we're going to be going into our Halqifibrax. So we're going to use the Orichalc and the Autonav as link material. Go ahead and link summon our Crystron Halqifibrax. Now what's cool about this exchange is that we can actually chain block the Halqifibrax's effect to prevent it from being Ash Blossomed. And how we do that is because Metalfoes Orichalc has an effect when it's sent to the graveyard from the field. And the way it's worded is that it triggers when it's sent from field to grave. This wording is amazing. I honestly feel like more cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Should have this clause, because what this means is this card triggers its effect no matter how it gets sent from field to grave. Your opponent could kaiju this, and this card's effect in the grave would still activate because of how it's worded. So what we can do is we can actually activate Crystron Halqifibrax as Chainlink 1, Metalfoes Orichalc as Chainlink 2, and what this card does is when it's sent from field to grave, we can target one card in the field and destroy it. So we can literally just get a free pop on the opponent's board of a problematic card or any back row that we want to remove. Or we can even pop one of our own cards on our field. If we have another field spell we want to blow up, we can do that too. So this is a really nice disruption card. And it can, like I said, chain block the Halks. We'll go Chainlink 1 Halk, Chainlink 2 Orichalc. Orichalc resolves first, pop something on the opponent's field or our field, and then now the Halk will go ahead and resolve its effect. And we're going to go ahead and special summon from our deck a copy of Despot 1. If I could find it, here it is. Then we'll take our Halk and our Despot 1 as link material to go into our Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. We will activate the effect of Auroradon, special summoning our 3 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens to our board, triggering the graveyard effect of our Despot 1 to special summon itself when 2 or more machines are summoned at the same time. Then we'll go ahead and take our Despot 1 and 2 of our Mecha Phantom Beast tokens to synchro into a level 7. And for the purposes of this combo, again, our end goal is going to be to make the Trish. We're going to go into a FA Dawn Dragster for this. Now, we're going to take the field spell in our hand that we had searched earlier during this combo. We're going to send the Hyper Stadium to the graveyard to go ahead and activate City Grand Prix in its place. Now, City Grand Prix's effect will give Dawn Dragster 2 levels. However, for the purposes of this combo, we're not going to be using Dawn Dragster's individual effect to gain him the extra level. We need Dawn Dragster to be a level 9. And the reason for that is because now we're going to go ahead and use the graveyard effect of our Auto Navigator, targeting our Dawn Dragster on field. We'll special summon the Auto Navigator by reducing the Dawn Dragster's level back to its original. And then Auto Navigator's level becomes the amount that was reduced. Doesn't gain, it becomes. So her level's now going to be 2. And the reason for that is had we made Dawn Dragster a level 10 by its own effect when we activated City Grand Prix, the Auto Navigator we summon out of the graveyard would be a level 3 right now. And we need her to be a level 2 for this combo because that's how we actually get into our Trish. We're going to go ahead and use the Auroradon's secondary effect, tributing itself and the remaining token, to special summon out of our deck a copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Aerosquin. Aerosquin will summon itself. Then we'll go ahead and activate Mecha Phantom Beast Aerosquin's effect to banish the Mecha Phantom Beast monster in our graveyard, to special summon a Mecha Phantom Beast token. And here, you're going to look, Mecha Phantom Beast Aerosquin's effect is its level becomes the combined level of all Mecha Beast tokens on the field. So since we control one Mecha Beast token, and that token's a level 3, our Arrows Gwyn's right now is a level 6. Which, if you add all these levels up, we have a level 2 tuner, a level 6 non-tuner, and a level 3 non-tuner. We're going to take the 2, the 6, and the 3, and if you actually count those levels, all of them add up to level 11, which is how we make our Trishula Zero Dragon of the Ice Barrier going second. Now, when Trishula Zero Dragon of the Ice Barrier is synchro summoned, we get to banish up to 3 cards the opponent controls. That's absolutely insane. Non-target, non-destruction removal, just banish 3 cards on their field. And if you noticed, we had already popped a card potentially earlier during our combo using Orichalc. So with this combo, we effectively cleared 4 cards off of their board potentially. Popping one off the Orichalc's Grave effect, and then banishing 3 right now. Now what's even crazier about this is, let's say the opponent responds to the summon of this, because obviously an effect like this that's going to banish 3 cards is usually going to prompt a response from the opponent if they have one, because they're not just going to let you banish 3 cards in their field most of the time, unless they have a way to stop it. If they do have a way to interact with this, and that form of interaction causes this card to be destroyed by their effect, we can now activate the graveyard effect of Trishula Zero Dragon of the Ice Barrier. And that effect is that we can special summon a Trishula, the original Trish, a Dragon of the Ice Barrier, from our extra deck or graveyard. That Trish's attack is going to become 3,300. And what's going to happen is all monsters in the opponent's field, their effects will be negated, and their attack will be halved. And that's a permanent effect negation and attack reduction. So it's almost like you just forbidden dropleted their board when the Trishula Zero Dragon is destroyed. Now, unfortunately, the Trish that you summon off of that isn't going to be able to use its own effect, and that's because it's not synchro summoned. It's been special summoned by the effect of Trishula Zero. But it's still pretty insane. I mean, you're going to get a 3,300 body on board, blanket negate their whole field, and reduce all their cards by half. So that's just one of the combos that I wanted to showcase you guys, how it is that I'm actually able to use Trishula Zero Dragon going second when I side into it. And then again, I have still 1 card in hand, and they have a spell trap negate to deal with on top of all this. So really, really clean. Just something that I wanted to showcase you guys, for going second combo. The second combo that I want to showcase you guys, let me just get the cards together. I'll show you guys right now. Alright guys, here we are with the second going second combo, no pun intended, of the video. I wanted to showcase you guys what you can do actually if you draw into the Metalfoes Vanisher. I know during the deck profile, I had talked about that this was one of the only Metalfoes monsters that you didn't want to draw during your combo. And that's because, you can special summon it out of the deck with cards like Metalfoes Counter and things like that. However, if you do draw Vanisher, it's not actually a brick. You can still use it to combo, and I'm actually going to showcase you guys how to do that. So this is going to be another going second board that I wanted to showcase, highlighting some cards that you might not have seen in the first combo video get used. So right now, this is just, again, another mock-up hand. We have a Vanisher, a Hyper Stadium in our hand, and a Bismugear. Believe it or not, with this hand, we can still achieve our combo for going second, and we're going to showcase that right now. So we're going to go ahead and activate Hyper Stadium in the field zone. Searching out a copy of Auto Navigator to our hand. We will go ahead and normal summon FA Auto Navigator, using its effect to add ourselves a FA field spell from deck to hand. Now you can search for Off-Road Grand Prix, City Grand Prix, but for the sake of this combo, I'm actually going to search for a Circuit Grand Prix, just because it's a field spell that I haven't really put too much light on. Going second, this field spell is pretty insane. However, we're just actually going to wind up blowing it up just to get its graveyard effect off in this case. But it is still a decent card depending on the situation. So what we can do now is we can actually send our Hyper Stadium to the graveyard by activating our Circuit Grand Prix in its place. go ahead and activate our Bismuth gear in the scale. And now we can actually use our Metalfoes Vanishers effect in the hand. And that effect is, while this card's in our hand, we can target 2 face-up cards I control, including a Metalfoes card, destroy them, and if I do, special summon this card from my hand. So we can actually target the Circuit Grand Prix and the Bismuth gear on our field, destroying them both. And we get to special summon the Vanisher out of our hand. Now, Vanisher is going to actually activate its monster effect, and that effect is triggered when it's special summoned by the effect of a Metalfoes card, including itself. So Vanisher will be Chain Link 1, and then what we can do here is we can do Bismuth gear, and Circuit Grand Prix is Chain Links 2 and 3. Bismuth gear actually goes to the extra deck face up when it's destroyed, but what Bismuth gear is, if this card is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can add a Metalfoes monster from the deck to your hand during the end phase of this turn. Now, what's interesting to note about this is that Bismuth gear can actually add a copy of itself, and that's kind of cool because there's not a lot of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That search copies of themselves, so that's something to note. But that search you won't get until the end phase of this turn. So it's something that you have to make sure not to forget during the end of your combo. But we will be activating the effect of Circuit Grand Prix since it was destroyed in our field zone. And we'll get to add any FA card from deck to hand. Now, for this, we can search a copy of City Grand Prix. There's a lot of things we can search here. For this case, we're actually going to just search a copy of Test Run. Now, we can actually make a level 10 Synchro here, if there actually was a generic level 10 Synchro worth making right now. That will change in the future. There was some cards that were revealed recently. For example, some of Sherry LeBlanc's stuff coming out of the brand new Wind Duelist pack. That level 10 Synchro is insane. Definitely going to be an instant add to the extra deck when that card gets released. But since we don't have a level 10 Synchro we can make right now, what we can do is go into our good old boy Hulk, using our tuner and our non-tuner. Also, something to note, when this card is special summoned by the effect of a Metalfoes card, you can actually banish, target a monster your opponent controls or has in their graveyard, and banish it. So this card is actually a really nice disruption / removal, especially going second, because your opponent's already going to have a board set up. So there could be some pretty interesting things that you can target and banish. And obviously banishing things in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pretty good removal. So we're going to go into our Christian Hulk of Fibrax. Use Hulk's effect. Of course, I'm sure you know where this is going. Into Despot. Go Hulk and Despot to go ahead and make our Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. Auroradon effect. We'll special summon 3 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens and bring our good old boy Despot back to the field. Now, there's an interesting thing we can do here. We can actually take our Despot and 2 of our Mecha Phantom Beast tokens to make a level 7 Synchro, which can be Dawn Dragster. We'll summon the Dawn Dragster in defense position, and then since we have a FA Test Run in our hand, we can actually activate the Test Run, target the Dawn Dragster, switching it to attack position, and then we can destroy any card in the field non-target. And then of course the Dawn Dragster will gain a level since we activated the Test Run. So we can actually go for that, or instead of going for the Dawn Dragster, we can actually go for a card that wasn't really showcased in the first combo tutorial, because this is more of a going second choice, and that is Cyber's Quantum Dragon. Now, ironically, because we actually control a Link monster on the board, Cyber's Quantum will actually have its full effects online. And those effects are, while you control a Link monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot target monsters you control for attacks, except this one. Also, your opponent cannot target monsters you control with card effects, except this one. So since I control a Link monster, that effect will be online, and it basically lightning rods himself. So your opponent cannot attack anything but him, or target any other monster on the field but him. And then his secondary effect is, once per turn, at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can return that opponent's monster to the hand. Also, this card can make a second attack in a row. That effect is really nice, especially going second, because it's non-targeting, non-destructive removal. And that triggers at the start of damage step. So this card can out a lot of annoying threats, and it can even still attack again in a row. And that can be a direct attack. It doesn't have to be on monsters, which is really nice. So we can actually synchro summon into this. Now, we can actually use our Mechaphanum Beast Auroradon's secondary effect, not to summon the Aerosguin from the deck, but we can actually tribute one monster, in this case being the remaining token, and we can pop one card in the field. Because depending on the amount of monsters tributed, Auroradon has different effects. If you tribute one monster, you can destroy a card in the field, also non-targeting, or you can special summon the Mechaphanum Beast from deck, which is the effect we usually use. But in this case, since we want to keep the link on board, because we have the Quantum Dragon, we can just get rid of the remaining token and then blow up another card on the field, which is really nice. So you've already targeted and banished a card on their board with Vanisher, and now you also non-target popped a card on their board. And then what happens here, you basically just go into battle phase, use Quantum Dragon to battle into any monster they have. Quantum Dragon's effect activates, that monster gets bounced to the hand, and then assuming that was all they had, you can attack again directly for 2,500, and then also attack directly with the Auroradon for an additional 21. So that's almost 5,000 damage you pump out on a simple 2-card combo. In addition to that, you get a non-target bounce, you get a banish, and you get a non-target pop off of that. So it's a really clean going second combo. Again, like I said, this deck isn't meta relevant. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to top a YCS or that it's the best deck ever. However, I did play second at my locals, so it does have some plays that it can make that can deal with some of the threats that you're going to encounter in the meta. And I just wanted to go ahead and put up a secondary combo tutorial video for you guys for some going second plays, since my first combo tutorial vid didn't really showcase going second. It was more of a going first combo. I will let you guys know right now that I do actually have some cards coming in the mail for this deck. I'm very excited because I will be doing an updated FA Metalfoes deck profile coming up pretty soon once I get the cards in the mail. And I'm definitely, once I get those cards, will be trying to go back to my locals and seeing if I can actually go ahead and top the event this time, first place. You know, gotta shoot higher, right? But if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below in the video, and I'll see if I can answer any of those. Like and subscribe, and like I said, stay tuned for an updated FA Metalfoes deck profile coming up pretty soon. Thank you for watching, and have a good evening.